Yes, good morning, students. We were discussing in the previous class about different types of multiple access techniques, right? And I said about FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA, and as well as we have discussed about random access versus multiple access techniques, right? So today, let us try to understand uh, with respect to OFDM, okay, how these of multiple access techniques is clubbed and made as like if I combine OFDM and FDMA, then it becomes OFDMA, that is orthogonal frequency division multiple access technique, right? And I gave some little bit information about this OFDMA. Okay, so let me say a few things about that. So as I said, FDMA, I think before I come to this diagram, or let me say about this first. Okay, so looking at the diagram, I think whoever is there, just have a look, grasp what is written. First diagram is FDMA, second one is TDMA, means the first diagram is OFDM, FDMA, this one, and this second one is OFDM, TDMA. Okay, so x-axis is frequency. I think it is a 3D diagram, right? So frequency, time, and power, three things are written here. What is done in OFDM, FDMA, right? This diagram, right? So we have a block of subcarriers which are assigned to one particular user. Okay, so like n number of users will be there, so they are divided in frequency. We are going to allocate some block of subcarriers to each user. Okay, that is what is done in OFDM, FDMA. So what is the difference? Means they all will be talking, means user one will be talking over the entire time with by using different number of or different blocks of subcarriers, right? Means each user will be having a different block of subcarriers, but time is same. But in case of OFDM, TDMA, what we understand from this diagram is both frequency and as well as time are shared, right? Means for user one, some block of subcarriers will be there. Means for all the user one, user two, user three, the block of subcarriers are same. Okay, the block of subcarriers are same, but each user will be given some time slot. So they will be talking during that time slot. That is what the meaning of this, right? So user one, user two, user three, for all of them, the same number of subcarriers are given, but they will be communicating in different times. Similarly, here, see, user 4, 5, 6, right? And then 7, 8, 9. So what you will be able to understand between these two diagrams, in case of OFDM, FDMA, over the same time, right, each user will be given different blocks of subcarriers. But in case of OFDM, TDMA, frequency and the block of subcarriers are also different, and each user will be talking at different time intervals, right? So that is what the meaning of this. So with that, just let me give this theoretical information, that is with respect to that diagram. What I wanted to say is this FDMA can be implemented in OFDM by assigning different users, right, with their own set of subcarriers. That is what we understood from the diagram 1. So the simplest way to allocate the subcarriers is the word static allocation, we say. Okay. So static allocation of subcarriers to each user is one of the simplest way or simplest method to allocate the subcarriers. So let us to understand I have considered an OFDM system with 64 subcarriers. Okay, 64 subcarriers are there. So it is allocated these 64 subcarriers to different users. Okay, so let me consider that there are 4 users. Okay, user 1, user 2, user 3, and user 4. Okay, just I am assuming 4 users are there. User 1 will be allocated 1 to 16 subcarriers. Okay, and user 2 17 to 32, means each user will be using 16 subcarriers. A number of subcarriers to each user is fixed here. Okay, so this is how I say it is the static allocation, right? So user 1, I said the number of subcarriers allocated is from 1 to 16. User 2 is from 17 to 32, and user 3 is from 33 to 48, and user 4 is from 49 to 64. Okay, so here what happens, since it is a static allocation, sometimes for some users, okay, for some users, whatever the number of the subcarriers allocated may not be in a good condition, means their channel and other things, right? So because of that, it will be having, just with respect to OFD, I'm saying it is limited to its capacity, right? So here what I done is, for all the 4 users, the number of subcarriers are allocated equally, right? With the 64 subcarriers, uh, the number of subcarriers allocated to each user is equal. Okay, equal number of subcarriers have been allocated. But sometimes all the users may not be using or transmitting, or I can say utilizing all the subcarriers to transmit their data, right? It can be even uneven distribution of the subcarriers also. So if you are able to do that, if instead of doing this static and fixed number of subcarriers to each user, if you are able to do uneven allocation, means depending upon the user requirement, okay, because depending upon the user requirement, if we are able to change the number of subcarriers allocated to each user, that we call it as a dynamic allocation. Okay, so to support higher data rate depending upon the user requirement, right? That is what I am talking here. So there could be uneven allocation with high data rate users being allocated more number of subcarriers than the low rate users, right? So such system we call as a OFDMA, that is orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Hope I could convey what I wanted to convey. I said FDMA can be implemented in OFDM, right, by assigning different users, okay, with their own set of subcarriers. I said one simple method of allocating the subcarriers to different users is fix the static allocation. Okay, static allocation of subcarriers to each user. I have taken here an example of OFDM system having 64 subcarriers. I said how these 64 subcarriers are allocated to 4 different users, right? I said user 1 will be given 1 to 16 subcarriers, user 2 17 to 32, user 3 33 to 48, user 4 49 to 64. So this is one way of doing the allocation. Another way of doing allocation is we can have uneven distribution of these subcarriers among the users depending upon their data rate requirement, right? In that case, we will be able to support for the user who requires higher data rate by assigning more number of subcarriers, and for the user who does not require more data, we can assign less number of subcarriers, right? I said that system is known as the orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Okay, means this OFDMA, as I can say, allows multiple users to share the OFDM subcarriers. Okay, that is what the multiple access technique it is. OFDMA allows multiple users to share the OFDM subcarriers. In case of LTE, this OFDMA has explicit time sharing and procedures to allow for this dynamic allocation of subcarriers. This is with respect to LTE. Okay. In case of LTE, what I said, this OFDMA LTE has explicit time sharing and procedures to allow for the dynamic allocation of the subcarriers. Fine. So we can improve upon this static allocation, uh, whatever I said earlier, right? In LTE with this dynamic subcarrier allocation. Okay, so this dynamic subcarrier allocation is done based on the channel state conditions. Okay, so dynamic subcarrier allocation is done based on the channel state condition. So what I wanted to say, what is channel state condition is, maybe is if we are assigning the subcarriers like this with a fixed number of subcarriers to each user. So what do you mean by dynamic allocation? I said based on the channel state condition. Say for example, for user one, okay, user one maybe having a relatively good channels on subcarriers from 33 to 48. Okay, user may. So in that case, uh, now we have assigned to user 3, right? So this user 3 might have good channels from 1 to 16 subcarriers. So by swapping between user 1 and user 3, we will be able to achieve better utilization of these subcarriers, right? Hope I made you to understand what is this dynamic subcarrier allocation. That is based on the channel state condition. I said what example I gave here is user 1, now it is assigned 1 to 16, right? But he may be having a good channel condition of 33 to 48. Similarly, the user 3 may be having a good channel condition in his area of 1 to 16 subcarriers. In that case, by swapping the subcarriers between user 1 and 3, we will be able to uh, make the mutual benefit to those users. Okay, right, with the static allocation only, right? So that is what is done in this LTE. Okay, so depending upon the channel state condition, the channels will be swapped among the users, which subcarriers are good for them, right? So already I talked about this, how this thing is done. I think these things I already told in the previous class only. What is this FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA? You can just have a look. So let me say about OFDM, TDMA, right? With respect to this diagram, I told here what is this OFDM, TDMA, right? So here what I said, the number of means the block of subcarriers will be assigned to each users, means those block of subcarriers are same, okay, for user 1, 2, 3, but they will be talking over different time intervals, right? So that is what the meaning of this. That is what that is OFDM, TDMA. I think I need not read this. Hope you will be able to understand. I will skip that. Okay, even this slide also. So similarly, I can say how OFDM, CDMA can be clubbed. That you all know what is CDMA. That is code division multiple access. By combining with OFDM system, we call that as a multi-carrier code division multiple access, right? Means here what in CDMA is done. So different users will be having different pseudo noise codes, right? So depending upon that, they will be separated based on the code, not on frequency or time, right? Means they will be able to talk at the same frequency, same time, but each user will be having a unique code. That is what is multi-carrier CDMA, what I can say. So next, what I will say about in detail about the OFDMA. Okay. Yeah, that OFDM, that is FDMA, is known as OFDMA. Okay. Earlier it was used to call OFDM FDMA system. Nowadays that one is known as the OFDMA, that is orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Fine, I think even I need not read this. I will go with the diagram to make you understand, I think. Yeah. So this is just you can have a look how OFDM is different from OFDMA. Yes, looking at the diagram, is it possible to understand? So in the case of OFDM, what is done? The users are allocated on the time domain, right? So user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, and is given here. So they will be right on the time domain, right? So only while using an OFDMA system, the user would be allocated by both time and frequency, right? Means with respect to the diagram, what I have shown in the previous slides, now OFDM, OFDMA, and OFDM TDMA, right? So here, what you are able to understand means in OFDM, what I said, the user are allocated on the time domain only while using an OFDMA system. The user would be allocated by both time and frequency, right? In OFDM, it is only on time, right? But in case of OFDMA, both time and frequency. That is why user 1 is time, then user 2 this time, and as well as this frequency also. Okay. Then yes, user 3 and user 4 at this time with the different subcarriers, like that, right? So this is very much useful for LTE since it makes possible to exploit both this frequency dependence scheduling, just what I said about based on the channel state conditions, how the channels will be swapped between the users, right? So that is what is saying about this. Okay, it's all just to get better understanding. I kept here. You can just have wherever is possible to make understand, able to get this clarity what OFDM and OFDMA is. So clearly the OFDM allocates users in time domain only. Okay, to say in short. So x-axis is time and y-axis is frequency. So for each user given some block of subcarriers, they will be talking over different time intervals. In case of OFDMA, what happens? It will be allocating users in time and as well as frequency domain, right? So user 1 means here time is also shared and frequency is also shared, what I can say. Yeah, I think I will come back to this later on. It is a little bit in-depth understanding about even when I was discussing about frame structure, I can, but nothing wrong in just having a look. In case of OFDM, what I said, however, able to see y-axis is subcarriers. So I said there will be 12 subcarriers. It is written 0 to 12, that is 0 to 11. So which will be 12 subcarriers, and each subcarrier spacing is of 15 kilohertz. Okay, and x-axis is time. Okay, so here I think 14 symbols, that is 14, 0 to 13, it becomes 14, right? 14 symbol times is written, that is T, 2T, 3T, 4T, like that up to you can write uh, right? So total means what I wanted to convey here is one frame. To say one frame in case of LTE, there will be 10 subframes. Okay, so one subframe will be having 2 time slots. So that is why here it is shown. See, one subframe is equal to 2 time slots, that is 0, 1. So here it is 0 to 20, means there are 20 time slots. Okay, 20 time slots. 2 time slots is one subframe. Like that, the duration of one subframe will be 1 millisecond. 1 millisecond. So with that, I can say 10 subframes, which is equal to 10 milliseconds. So one frame duration will be 10 milliseconds. Okay, so and each this one cell is known as the resource element. Okay, it is here shown here. So this one cell means in one time slot, uh, I said that there are 12 subcarriers, right? So one cell is known as the resource element. Like that, in case of OFDMA, two things are there. One is we can have 7 OFDM symbols for normal cyclic prefix and 6 OFDM symbols for extended cyclic prefix. So with respect to that, uh, here it is shown what is a resource block. Okay, with 7 OFDM symbols and as well as 6 OFDM symbols. Okay, I think I will show better picture. Uh, yeah, I will come back to this all these things. I think you'll be able to understand quickly. Okay. Okay. So I said that 12 subcarriers frequency, right? And each subcarrier spacing is of 15 kilohertz. I said so. 15 into 12, you will get 180 kilohertz, right? And similarly, time slots, right? I said 7 time slots, 7 symbols. Okay, 7 symbols uh, is known as one resource block. 7 symbols, 7 OFDM symbols, and this 12 subcarriers. That together is known as one resource block. And in that one cell or one OFDM symbol, this must be right, is known as the resource element. I think you should be able to understand these things. What is resource element? What is resource block? So resource block is from 7 OFDM symbols with the 12 subcarriers. That is one resource block. What is resource element? One cell is known as a resource element. Okay, that is with one symbol and one subcarrier frequency. And what is this physical resource block? With the 14 OFDM symbols. Okay, with 14 OFDM symbols and 12 subcarriers is known as one PRB. That is physical resource block. Hope are you able to understand what I'm saying? What is resource element? What is resource block? And what is physical resource block? Okay, and I said about subframe, right? So subframe is of 0.5 milliseconds, right? One subframe. Are you able to get my point? And even for better understanding this picture also you can see 12 subcarriers. Each subcarrier frequency spacing is a 15 kilohertz. 12 into 15 will get 180 kilohertz, right? So in one resource block, right, what I said, no, resource block, that is 12 into 7 means there will be 84 resource elements. Here it is shown clear, right? So 84 resource element will be given to one user. Okay, user 1. User equipment means that is a mobile, right? So one resource block will be assigned to each user equipment. That is what you can understand. So I said one means 2 slot will be equal to 1 subframe, right? And I said that slot duration will be equal to 0.5 milliseconds with 7 OFDM symbols. And here see the number of bits conveyed with respect to each resource element will be different. That depends on what type of modulation we use. If I use QPSK, it will be of 2 bits. If I use 16 QAM, it will be of 4 bits. Like that, if I use 64 QAM, it will be of 6 bits. Okay. I hope you will be able to understand this. Why it is 4 bits? It is 2 power 4 is 16, right? That is why for 16 QAM, we say 4 bits will be conveyed. For 64, it will be 2 power 6 will be 64. So with respect to that, I can say 6 bits will be conveyed with each OFDM symbol. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. I just make you to understand, to look into more detail. I am showing you the diagrams which will make you clear with enlarged this one. See, I said now 12 subcarriers, right? With 7 OFDM symbols is known as one resource block. Okay. So 12 subcarriers with 180 like that. Many this will be there, and this we call a slot 0. So 2 slot is 1 subframe, already told, which is equal to 1 millisecond. Like that, I said how many subframes will be there? 10 subframes. and 20 slots. Okay, so you should be able to understand the slot 0 means 7 OFDM symbols. Okay, so one radio frame in case of LTE, which is equal to 10 milliseconds is the duration. I think this much of clarity you should get. You should have in your mind to visualize how the user equipment's number of subcarriers will be allocated to different users. Fine. This is what just convention what we use in OFDMA. So I think you'll be able to understand that. So number of active users we denote by K. Then total number of subcarriers will be denoted by number of subcarriers, right? We use the notation capital L to denote the number of subcarriers. Then M suffix K, M represents number of subcarriers per active user K. This is channel gain, and this is the transmit power allocated to user K in the subcarrier L, and this is what the additive weight Gaussian noise power spectrum density, and this is the total transmit power available at the base station PTOT, and this is the total transmission bandwidth. So you need to be aware of these notations, then you'll be able to understand further lectures with if I use what is this notation is, right? Okay. Okay, I will yeah, let me say about how OFDMA works. Okay, so as I said, the OFDMA is used in the downlink, right? In case of LTE. Yes, able to see the block diagram?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just have a look, all of you. So what are the different blocks? Because once we know what is OFDM and then OFDMA becomes easy to understand, right? So it is all just a block level, means block diagram level understanding it is. So there are K users, okay, user 1, user 2, user K, like that, K number of users. So each user, you know, they will be transmitting information in terms of zeros and ones, right? So already we know what is AMC is, right? That is adaptive modulation and coding together we call. So first thing is what there will be forward error correction and as well as QAM modulation, right? So for every user information bit will be going through this process, forward error correction and as well as QAM modulation. So we have the option to, means each user will have the option to select the different modulation order of QAM. So depending upon his data rate requirement, that is what the flexibility in OFDM, right? So output of that will be passed to serial to parallel converter. Hope you will be able to understand the serial to parallel converter. Before that, this much is done. Okay, this operation is done. So means you might have noticed by this time while explaining at a different stages. I used to say at the beginning, this high data rate. Okay, high data rate is the input to what we are getting. So that high data rate input signal will be converted into low data rate by passing it through a serial to parallel converter, right? So here I have shown with different users. That is what the difference. Okay, I am considering different users. Each user will be having high data rate that will be given to serial to parallel converter. See, output of serial to parallel converter, what we get a low rate signal that will be given to subcarrier mapper. Okay, so mapping is done here, means output of serial to parallel converter, you should be able to visualize how that FFT is done, right? IFFT. Then that after subcarrier mapping is given to the L point IFFT. Okay, so output of L point IFFT is what? See, for input to IFFT will be in what domain? It is in time domain or frequency domain? It will be in frequency domain, right? So we take IFFT means output of that IFFT will be again time domain, right? So that parallel data will be given to parallel to serial converter. Then we add the cyclic prefix. Then it will be transmitted over the air. So this is what the downlink transmitter. Okay, that is from base station to user equipments. It will come. Is that fine? So I think I need not stress again and again what is happening, because already this has been discussed many times. So hope looking at the block you will be able to understand what process is happening at each stage. Then how does it looks downlink receiver? Okay. So in the previous case, what I have shown is downlink transmitter, that is from base station to your equipments. Here I am saying downlink receiver. Downlink receiver means that is from user equipment, okay, to the base station. So at the transmitter side, we are adding cyclic prefix and we are transmitting it, right? The first step is to remove the cyclic prefix. Okay, that is why the first block is written as remove cyclic prefix. After removing cyclic prefix, do serial to parallel converter. Then we have done IFFT operation at the transmitter side. Do the FFT operation at the receiver side, right? So there is L point FFT. Then their subcarrier mapping is done, right? So do the reverse process, that is demapping, right? Then after doing demapping, what we need to do? So there will be frequency domain equalizer, right? I said what is the purpose of frequency domain equalizer? So it will be correcting the phase change and as well as amplitude variations, right? So this is I have taken only for particular one user, so it will be extended for k users also, same blocks. Then do parallel to serial, then do the estimation. So detection is there, so you'll be able to get back the user one bits. Okay, so to generalize this for this is for single user, what I said. So it will be replicated for k users. Okay, each of the k active users will be undergoing this process. Okay, is that fine? So transmitter, OFDM and downlink transmitter, OFDM and downlink receiver, two things I said. So once you understand about transmitter, I think reverse of that will be a receiver. So remove cyclic prefix, then serial to parallel, that is FFT you're doing, demapping, then do the detection. Fine. So this is with respect to in the previous case. So this is with respect to k users, right? OFDMA downlink transmitter. So here I have OFDMA uplink transmitter. Okay, uplink transmitter for user 1. Okay, so you want me to talk again? Same thing, not recorded. So user 1 bits will be passed through this AMC. What happens in AMC? So there will be forward error correction and as well as modulation, right? Then serial to parallel converter, right? Sub carrier mapping. So this is for user 1, right? So IFFT is done, right? Then do the parallel serial, add cyclic prefix and transmit. Here, what is here written in L point FFT? Only it will be, because user 1 I'm showing, right? So only M subcarriers will be mapped, right? So total L subcarriers will be there. In that, M number of subcarriers will be allocated to user 1. So the rest, that is L minus M, will be made 0. That is why it is written zeros. Okay. Hope you able to understand what I am saying. For user 1, whatever the subcarriers are allocated, that is, it may be 12 subcarriers in this LTE example. 12 subcarriers will be allocated to one user. Okay. In that system, maybe I may be having 100 subcarriers. Okay. 100 minus 12. The remaining will be made 0 for this particular user. Okay. This is what the OFDMA uplink transmitter. Similarly, the receiver. Okay. So this is OFDMA uplink receiver for K users. Okay. For K users, that is, I think first I said about K users OFDMA uplink transmitter, right? With respect to that, you need to understand this. I think I not kept in order the slides, right? So remove cyclic prefix, then do the serial to parallel converter, do L point FFT, DMAP. So for each user, there will be equalizers, right? For estimating the channel for K users, parallel to serial converter, detection. You will be able to get back each user's information at their particular destination. That is user 1 bits, user 2 bits, and so on up to user K bits. Okay. So with this, I think we'll be able to now understand how similar things are there. Once you understand for one particular this one, I think that can be extended for any number of users. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is the diagram which shows how in case of OFDMA, how the base station will be allocating the subcarriers. Okay. I said now, in case of OFDMA, depending upon the channel state condition, right? Channel state condition, the subcarriers will be swapped between the users, right? So that is what is shown here. We get the channel state condition by using CSI, that is channel state information feedback, what we say. So this base station will be allocating the subcarrier to different users. Hope we are able to understand. It's user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, like that you can say, right? So how the channels will be allocated for each users. What I said, wherever the subcarriers are strong for each of these users, only those subcarriers will be allocated to these users. Okay. Okay, so this is all about OFDMA. Okay, whatever I have shown, there are the different versions of OFDMA. Okay, just to say what are the different types, no? So just I will say about this now, I think, after showing all those slides and information. So what I wanted to say here is, in case of OFDMA, okay, so OFDMA system allocates subcarriers based on what time frequency slice. The time frequency slice is known as the resource grid in case of LTE. Okay, that resource grid, hope you have seen that. So that will be having M subcarriers or some number of consecutive OFDM symbols in a time. Okay, I said seven OFDM symbols, right? Consecutive OFDM symbols. I said no, 7 OFDM symbols with the 12 subcarriers is known as one resource block. Okay, so the M subcarriers can either be spread out over the band, that we call it as distributed or comb or diversity allocation. And second thing is, they may be bunched together in M contiguous subcarriers. So that we call it as band AMC or localized or group cluster. So these are the different names. If they are spread out over the band, that we call as a distributed, or Kumbar diversity allocation. If they are bunched together in M contiguous subcarriers, that we call it as a band AMC or localized or group cluster. So these words you need to grasp and remember, because while discussing, you should be able to differentiate what do you mean by distributed allocation and what do you mean by localized allocation. Okay, maybe in the beginning, if I used to say localized allocation of subcarriers, so you should be able to understand now what is that. So this distributed allocation will be achieving the frequency diversity over the entire band. Okay, because the subcarriers will be spread out over the band, right? And they rely on what? Interleaving and coding to correct the errors caused by the poor subcarriers. So this another type, what I said, band AMC, right? So band AMC mode will attempts to use the subcarriers where the signal to interference noise ratio is roughly equal, and to choose the best coding and modulation scheme for that SINR. Okay, so with respect to that, I think yeah, this is what the grid structure, what we say. Fine. Yeah. So in case of what band AMC happens is, if accurate signal to interference noise ratio is obtained at the receiver about each band's signal to interference noise ratio, then the band AMC will be outperforming when compared to distributed subcarrier allocation. So what I wanted to say, how band AMC performance can be better than the distributed one, right? So based on the value of SINR. Fine. So if that is not possible, means in case of highly mobile system, in that case, the distributed allocation is preferred to maximize the diversity. So here two types of allocation. One is distributed, another is band AMC. I think you should be able to take that while allocating the subcarriers to different users. So I think I discussed all these things. Let me uh, take about SCFDMA. So in brief, because already you are aware and discussed many times about this so far. With respect to block diagram, I'm conveying here. So you all know what is SCFDM, right? That is single carrier frequency and division multiple access. So here you should be able to differentiate how this SCFDMA is different from OFDMA, right? And I said OFDMA is preferred for downlink and SCFDMA is preferred for uplink in LTE. So because of what constraints I told that, anybody is possible to say why OFDMA is not preferred for uplink? Yes, people are there with me. Am I connected?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay, at least was Reddy is saying yes. I don't know how many of you have remembered why we prefer SCFDMA for uplink. Why not OFDMA, right? I told one is about PAPR, that is peak to average power ratio. In case of OFDMA, it is more. So when PAPR is more, what happens? It demands high linear uh, power amplifier. So to increase the linearity range of the power amplifier, so we need to use a costly power amplifier. So that cost cannot be paid by the user equipment. That is why OFDM is not preferred for uplink. That is one aspect. Second aspect is power consumption, right? So your handheld device, that is your user equipment, is an handheld device, and it should consume as less power as possible, right? But OFDMA consumes a lot of power because of the high power amplifier. So that is why it is eliminated, and SCFDMA is preferred. Fine. So what is done here? See, first thing is same. User 1 bits will be passed to AMC. What happens in AMC, you know. Then serial to parallel. So try to understand here. Right, we are using here FFT in the transmitter. Okay. In case of OFDMA, we used to do IFFT first, right? But here we are not doing IFFT. We do M point FFT, then do the subcarrier mapping, then hit the IFFT. Okay. With that,
No, but it's not.
by doing L point IFFT, then do the parallel serial converter, add cyclic prefix, transmit. So this is how the SCFDMA works for the uplink transmission. Okay. Yes, what is added here? FFT operation will be done at the transmitter side only. Okay. FFT and as well as IFFT means by doing FFT and IFFT, it will nullify the operation. Okay. Means nullify the operation of requirement of high power amplifier. What I wanted to say. Uh, okay, I think let me continue this in the next class, I feel.